Thank you. Thank you very much. So I have to tell you all, when I first was invited to come speak at this conference, and I heard the theme of the conference was going to be about inspire, I immediately said, sign me up. Because if there's anything that our world could use these days, it's a little bit more inspiration. Would you agree?
Yes.
I think if you look back at just the latest news cycle, just think back over even the last 6 months. We've had our share of stuff going on in the world. We've had terrorist attacks going on, threats of nuclear war. We have leaders out there that want to oppress women and other people who have the audacity to be born differently than they have been. Let's see, we've had,
Hurricanes.
Mother Nature has created some havoc for us. We've had hurricanes, we've had fires, we've had all kinds of stuff going on in the world. I mean, I think you all can agree that it's definitely, we've had our trials, we've had our tribulations, and that's on a global level. I'm sure each of you could pick out something that you've had going on in your personal life too, because we all have stuff. It may be personal relationship, family relationships, partners, friends. Maybe it's issues at work. Maybe it's school struggles. Those are all things that we've dealt with at some point in our lives. So when I say those things, how am I making you feel so far? Are you feeling inspired? Darn. No, you're not. You're not, and I don't blame you. Nobody would feel inspired with that. And that's kind of the situation, the state of the world right now that we're dealing with. It's more likely that you're feeling things like sad, in some cases angry. Some people have been depressed and scared, quite honestly. And if you think of all those emotions, what they really stem from is fear. And what's really interesting about the way we are wired as humans, our brains are wired for the fear response. When we feel fear, we'll respond with fight, getting back, flight, running away and hiding, or freezing, literally paralyzed. Those are the only responses that you get to fear. So what do we do with this? How do we change this? I've heard in the past year, I've heard more often than not, people making comments such as, God's punishing us. Mother Nature's angry with us. Or the worst, what have I done to deserve this? Why is God testing me? And every time I hear that, why is God testing me, it just hits something in my core. Because I think that we've gotten something a little backwards when we make a comment like that. We've forgotten one of the most important things when it comes to God or universe or source, whatever word you use. I believe we all mean the same thing. But I think we're forgetting that it's really about faith. And that God is a God of love and only wants the best for us and wants to support us and make sure that we get back on track. So it doesn't feel like that all the time, though. That's why people think that they're being tested. So how do we get back on track with that? Now, I want to tell you a story about my favorite professor back in college. And we've got students here in the room, right? Do we have any faculty members? No, just students? Darn, we should have some faculty because they should really hear this. So my favorite faculty, or my favorite class, it was my sophomore year in college, and it was a psychology class. And the first day of class, we show up, and normally you get your syllabus for the rest of the course. Well, our Professor Williamson, passed out a stack of papers. It was about this thick. And as he passed it out, he said, "What I'm handing out to you today is the final exam. These are all the questions to the final exam. And 4 months from now, you're going to come back and you're going to sit in these chairs and you're going to be taking this exact same test. with all these questions on it. I was like, yeah, rock on. That felt pretty awesome, right? To be able to sit there with all the answers on the class, or on all the answers to the final exam. And what he went further to say, what I want you to know more than anything is, as your teacher, as your instructor, I want nothing but the best for you. I want you to be able to relax and enjoy yourself over the next few months. I want you to come and show up to class and really come with a point of curiosity and looking to find all the answers to these questions that are on here. I want you to not feel as though you're being tested. I want you to see this as an assignment. So for the next 4 months, you've got an assignment to find the answers to these questions. And at that moment, something really clicked for me, the difference between a test and an assignment. You know, a test is something that tests your competency too. It does test what you know and what you don't know. And in fact, I took that test home that night, and I went through it to see what I knew and what I didn't know. And then that gave me the starting point for the rest of this semester. But I didn't go through the semester stressed out. To this day, I can still tell you pretty much everything I learned in that class. I wish more teachers would teach class that way. But to circle back to where we are in our society today, I don't believe we're being tested. I think we receive assignments. And what do assignments do? They give you the opportunity to learn what you need to learn, to grow where you might need to grow, to stretch yourself where you might need to stretch yourself, and maybe build some muscles that you don't have currently. And when you do that on a personal level, you can then step up and do that at a global level too. So we can shift the world and the issues that are going on in the world when we start with ourselves. So I want to invite you, when you go home tonight, to take a look at maybe a personal challenge that you're dealing with in your life. And ask yourself some questions. What assignments might be here for me? You know, what do I need to learn in this situation? What do I need to do differently? How do I need to show up differently in my life? What am I being asked to grow in? And then what actions can I take from there? And when you do that for yourself, and you stop feeling as though you're being tested, and instead start accepting the assignments with the faith that God, the universe, source, your whole family, friends, everybody wants you to succeed. They want you to be successful. Then you don't have the fear. And that's how we'll stop the fear, one person at a time. So who can accept that invitation to do that tonight? Thank you.